Right now at 5, a Sunday afternoon dirt bike crash in Cherokee County claims the life of one person. Plus, it is much cooler out there this morning, even some patchy fog. Are we done with the rain chances though? We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. And the crash near Mount Vernon claims the life of one woman.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Chris Warner. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. It is a little bit on the chilly side out there, and believe it or not, we have some additional shower chances in our forecast, but at least not until later today. So let's take a quick look down the road at what we're expecting. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies across the area through the majority of our day, and then as we head into this afternoon and evening, we'll start to see a few scattered showers out there. Now right now we're not looking at any thunderstorm chances, just a few showers, and these will be scattered throughout the area as we head into the evening. Here we are at 8. Here we are at 10, and then as we go into the overnight, by about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll start to clear out a little bit, and by the time we get to sunrise tomorrow, we're going to have those partly cloudy skies and looking to be a little bit warmer as we head into our Tuesday. We also have some patchy fog out there. Now, it's been varying in density, and even on my way here, saw some fog, not too dense, but as you can see, as you head down toward Grand Lake around Grove, a little denser out there, so just do be prepared for some possible dense fog. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69, and this is at East 520th Avenue, so just to the north of Kansas Crossing. Our camera, 7th and range line, we had some cloudy skies out there. Chilly for sure, 58 right now in Joplin with a calm breeze, and temperatures around the region, again, a pretty cool start. We've got 58 Iola, 59 in Yates Center, 61 Pittsburgh, 60 Chetopa, Miami, 58 in Neosho, and 59 in Carthage. As we get our morning started, we're going to be cloudy, mostly cloudy. Again, considerably cooler. Look at this, only upper 60s by late morning, whereas on Friday, we were talking about the mid-80s by the late morning hours. Today, highs right around the mid-70s for most of us. We'll have those cloudy skies throughout the morning and into the afternoon, and then we could see a stray shower or two as we head into this evening and into the overnight hours as we were talking about, and another chilly one too as we drop back into the upper 50s for our overnight lows. Looking ahead, start to warm up near 80 tomorrow. Mid-80s, upper 80s, low 90s as we head into Father's Day weekend. We do have some thunderstorm chances for us on our Thursday and maybe even into our Friday. Otherwise, starting to really heat up as we head into Father's Day weekend. Well, Sunday afternoon crash in Cherokee County takes the life of a Fort Worth, Texas man. Authorities received reports of a motorcycle crash on a rural road near Southwest 20th and Greenlawn Road just south of Columbus. Preliminary information reveals a dirt bike was traveling eastbound on Southwest Greenlawn Road when the driver struck a dog, causing him to lose control of the motorcycle. Cherokee County Ambulance rushed the driver to Mercy Maud Norton Hospital in Columbus, where he was pronounced deceased. Next of kin have been notified. An Aurora woman is dead following a crash near Mount Vernon. It happened Saturday morning near Missouri Highway 174, just 4 miles east of Mount Vernon. Authorities say 38-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when she veered off the roadway, hit a tree, and then overturned. White was pronounced dead at the scene. And a head-on crash near Columbus has claimed the life of a Joplin woman. This crash happened after 4 on Friday. Authorities responded to the crash on Highway 160, about 6 miles west of Columbus. They say a pickup left the right side of the road and hit a car head-on. The driver of the car, 67-year-old Violet Knowles of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the truck suffered minor injuries. A passenger in the truck was seriously injured. And 2 people have died in a shooting that involved a Kansas City, Missouri police officer. On Friday night, the Missouri Highway Patrol said a Kansas City police officer called for assistance. After arriving on scene, police discovered 1 officer and 5 people on scene. 3 of the 5 had gunshot wounds, according to the Missouri Highway Patrol. An adult male was pronounced dead. 2 others were taken to the hospital where a woman later died, and a man was treated for minor injuries. It's unknown at this time what led up to the shooting or who fired the shots. No officers were injured. Healthcare workers in Kansas will soon have further protections against violence they face in their jobs. Governor Laura Kelly and state lawmakers held a ceremonial signing of a bill aimed at protecting the frontline workers. Reporter Sean Logan has more.
Violence against healthcare workers is an aspect of this job that can really take its toll.
There for comfort and care of the patient, and day after day of being abused can definitely make you into a person that isn't able to give that.
Rebecca Gilbert has spent 10 years as a nurse in Wesley's ER and is now its director.
Verbal abuse daily to violence that has gotten to the point of nurses being taken to the floor by patients and repeatedly punched in the face.
Even before the pandemic, a survey by the Kansas Hospital Association found about 50% of hospitals reported an instance of physical violence at least once a year, and others still seeing it multiple times a month or week. Hospitals say it's worsened in recent years. It's not just nurses, doctors, or other frontline workers facing these attacks.
Walking down the hall, there was a person that had been sitting on a bench, and he stood up and he attacked me and punched me in the jaw.
This happened to Chris Biesing in 2017 at Stormont Vale in Topeka. He's been among hospital workers seeking more protections. This year, legislation passed and signed into law increases penalties for assault on healthcare workers and adds a crime for interfering with healthcare services.
They aren't free to come back the next day and do the same thing again and again, which does happen currently in healthcare.
But the damage of this has already been done. Rebecca seeing colleagues and friends never returning after an attack or facing these issues for years.
See patients or families or visitors and fear for myself.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Royals look to snap a 5-game losing streak against the O's. Plus, esports players who play the game League of Legends stage a walkout over decisions that Riot is making, and how pickleball is good for your mental health. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Well, the Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals were both on the diamond Sunday afternoon. Royals are trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are looking to win a 3-game series for the first time since May 25th. The Reds at Cardinals in Busch Stadium, top of the first inning. Jonathan India straight away center field. Tommy Edman is out of room, and it's out of here. 1-0 Reds. Go to the bottom of the third now. Tied game 2-2. Nolan Arenado slicing fair. This one stays in the ballpark. Goldie running hard around the bases. They'll be safe. Arenado is in there with an RBI triple. Go 3-2 Redbirds. Bottom of the eighth now. Tied 3-3. Infield. Paul DeJong's throw not in time. Ellie De La Cruz beats it out. Reds take the lead up 4-3. Now we go to the bottom of the ninth. Same score. Last chance for St. Louis. Brendan Donovan gets a good piece of it. Not far enough, though. That's your ball game. Reds go into St. Louis and win this one 4-3. Royals and Orioles in Camden Yards going to the top of the third. 3-1 Baltimore. Salvador Perez. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Royals tie the game up 3-3. Now we're going to go to the bottom of the third. Same score. Bases loaded for Josh Lester. 2 runs come in to score. Baltimore regains the lead up 5-3. The O's aren't going to look back the rest of the way. Gunnar Henderson, we need to get the tape measure out. It's a 3-run bomb. Take a look at that. Orioles up 10-3 now. We'll go to the bottom of the eighth. We're looking at the same score. Orioles starting to pile it on. There goes Nick Whitgren way out of here. Baltimore now up 11-3, and that will stand as the final score. Baltimore beats the Royals 11-3. Orioles sweep the series. Game 5 of the NBA Finals will tip off tonight. The Denver Nuggets are now only 1 win away from winning their first NBA title in franchise history, while Miami, in the other hand, is looking to extend the series.
So we didn't come this far to stop playing now, no matter what the odds are, the analytics. When we get out there, we just got to compete. We got to win one, and then we got to win another one, and then we got to win another one.
Oh, my biggest concern going into any closeout game is human nature and fighting against that. You know, you're up 3-1, and, you know, most teams, when you're up 3-1, they come up for air, they relax, and they just kind of take it for granted that, oh, we're going to win this. And the neat thing for us is that going back to the bubble, we've been down 3-1 before, and we've come back and won, and we know anything is possible.
Still to come, how the price of pasta is causing Italians to be upset. And we got another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:15 now on this Monday morning across the area, and we've got a cool and cloudy day out there, and maybe even at least one more opportunity for some showers today. We'll head through the afternoon. We're going to be mostly cloudy across the area, a few peaks of sun here and there. And then by about 4, we're going to start to see some increasing showers around the area. And these will hang with us. They'll be scattered, as you can see, as we go through the evening and overnight hours. But at least we have some opportunities, at least for a little light rain across the area. And then as we head towards sunrise tomorrow, we'll start to see these showers clear on out of here. But that will also allow for us to have a slightly warmer day for us on Tuesday. All right, across the region, right along the I-44 corridor just about, we're getting some patchy fog out there. We've actually been watching on Joplin cameras. Fog's starting to increase a bit in the city, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this particular map updates new information every half hour. So do be aware of some patchy fog out there. You can see some of it, just not super thick, but it is there from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline, KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just north of Kansas Crossing, looking good. And we've been watching, you can barely see the haze, but there's a little bit of fog there on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Chilly start to the day, by the way, 58 degrees in Joplin, and chilly across the region. We got 62 in Nevada, 59 Lamar and Carthage, 61 Pittsburgh, 62 Parsons Independence, 60 Chautauqua Miami, and 58 down in Neosho. Get our day started. Again, we're looking at cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Last Friday, we were looking at mid-80s by late morning. Today, we're talking upper 60s by late morning, which means our day is going to be relatively cool. Mostly cloudy skies. We're looking at highs right around the mid-70s. This evening, we'll have a few of those showers through the evening and early overnight hours. Will otherwise be mostly cloudy, lows back into the upper 50s. And as we look at the week ahead, starting to warm up near 80 tomorrow, mid-80s Wednesday, pushing upper 80s, lower 90s as we head toward the end of this week and into Father's Day weekend, with some thunderstorm chances, at least some isolated storm chances Thursday, Friday, and on Father's Day in the morning. Well, it's labor versus management on a high-tech level as esports deals with its first major labor dispute. Eamon Digman has more.
Multiplayer online game League of Legends is close to the top of the heap of competitive gaming, but it may have to cancel its Summer League Championship event after players voted to walk out of the competition. This comes as Riot Games and team owners said they were going to stop funding the NACL, essentially the game's North American minor league, where teams draw new pros. The Players Association is concerned that it would leave not only a deficit of talent, but
7 organizations immediately dropped their teams, causing about 70 people, including players, coaches, managers, and other support staff to, lose their employment.
In response, Riot Games has postponed the competition by 2 weeks, while also threatening to cancel the entire thing if no resolution can be made.
Technically, the players, by refusing to, play and saying they're not going to play in this upcoming event, are breaching their contract where, they're paid to provide this service, which is, competing on behalf of the team. And by saying that they're not going to, they're essentially breaching this agreement.
Now, esports have taken a lot of losses recently, including an esports arena canceled in Philadelphia and millions in investments called off by the owners of the Denver Broncos. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Does staging a walkout or a protest actually cause change? Yes or no? Well, we want to hear from you, so make sure you take time to vote through our website at KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. You can also vote through the KOAM News Now app and, of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this. Topping Health Watch this morning, the Food and Drug Administration says last year it documented 49 new drug shortages. News came in its annual report on drug scarcities to Congress. The FDA said pharmaceutical availability continues to pose a real challenge to public health. The agency says most of 2022's drug shortages were due to quality issues from manufacturers in the U.S. and abroad. Some manufacturers also struggled to keep up with demand. Quality issues were also to blame for last year's nationwide infant formula shortage. Are loved ones closest to you likely the source of you packing on the pounds? Well, a new study says yes. University of Surrey, England researchers say in a study that if you're trying to engage in weight loss or even healthy eating, your family and friends may be your biggest obstacles. Scientists say those in relationship with you may consciously or subconsciously derail your efforts because they're threatened by change and may not welcome it. Weight loss may be halted by sabotage, like discouraging the loss and even overfeeding you when dieters aren't hungry. Part of that is I just like the tacos my wife makes, and so I eat a lot of them, and that has nothing to do with her. Well, a new study suggests you may have to hang up your wine and shot glasses to curtail some disease risks. The study conducted by Oxford University researchers on more than 500,000 men living in China finds drinking alcohol in any amount could increase your risks of developing 60 different diseases. Scientists say even occasional drinkers were at risk of developing more than 30 diseases not previously linked to alcohol before. They include stomach and lung cancers, gastric ulcers, and gout. A new study shows the rate of developing disabilities as a cancer survivor is growing. Researchers at the Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center in Baltimore say the number of cancer survivors who then deal with a disability has doubled in the last 20 years. The study says about 3.6 million survivors had a functional limitation or disability in 1999, and that number had increased to 8.2 million by 2018. Functional disabilities studied included inability to stand for more than an hour, difficulty sitting for more than 2 hours, and difficulty participating in social activities without assistance. Researchers are urging men to take better care of their mental health during Men's Health Month. A survey from Myriad Genetics shows 53% of men have a trusted mental health care provider compared to 63% of women. Some responders say stigmas about mental health often prevent men from asking for help. The survey also found many respondents resort to heavy use of unhealthy coping mechanisms such as drinking, drugs, and gambling. Well, 28% of men say the coping mechanisms help them feel better despite being dissatisfied with their mental health. Doctors say they are also likely to do more harm than good. Well, you may have never heard of it, but the sport of pickleball is gaining popularity. The paddle sport combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. Paulina Baca looks at the appeal and physical and mental health benefits of the game.
At the Reynolds household, the youngest player on the court is 6 years old, and the oldest is granddad.
My dad comes in town from out of state. He's texting me, hey, we're playing pickleball when we come in, we come in town.
Miles Reynolds says pickleball has become a lifestyle for his family, so much so a move was in the cards.
I caught the pickleball bug, and I said, honey, is it worth moving to the other side of town so we can put a pickleball court in? And that was like the hardest sell ever.
His business, Sport Court Las Vegas, is catering to a boom in pickleball.
Pickleball started coming on the radar. We started building a lot of pickleball courts for retired communities. And so I thought, oh, this is for people that have retired from tennis. Until I got on a court with somebody, and they were like a lot older than me with knee braces, and they just whooped me.
Dr. Choi, thank you so much. Dr. Christopher Choi is a local physician who says he first learned about pickleball from his elderly patients.
They'll go miss other things, but they'll miss my appointment, but they will not miss the pickleball.
And just this week, he decided to pick up a racket himself.
Physically, it is not as taxing, but it does give a lot of cardio. It was great. I was sweating like crazy.
Turns out the cardio during the game is only one of the health benefits the sport offers.
Pickleball will make you physically really active. It is going to boost the serotonin. It is going to boost the norepinephrine. It is going to boost endorphin. Those will all actually help with depression and anxiety.
Because pickleball is not a solitary sport, the social aspect of the game comes into play.
If we don't interact with other human beings, we do get depressed. Isolation leads to depression. This is why there's more suicides now compared to before the pandemic.
So, if the pickleball craze hasn't caught up with you yet, Just know eventually you may be recruited to a court near you.
Here in Vegas, we can't keep, just keeping up with the demand for courts. I mean, I go to the Durango over here and there's 50 paddles of people waiting on the court, waiting to play.
The Association of Pickleball Professionals says there are currently 36.5 million Americans playing the sport. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We got some fog building across at least parts of the area, really along the I-44 corridor, and we've got a considerably cooler start to the day and a considerably cooler day ahead of us. We'll take a complete look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Good morning, I'm Chris Warner with your KOAM News Update. An Aurora, Missouri woman is dead following a crash near Mount Vernon. It happened Saturday morning near Missouri Highway 174, just 4 miles east of Mount Vernon. Authorities say 38-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when she veered off the roadway, hit a tree, and then overturned. White was pronounced dead at the scene. A head-on crash near Columbus claimed the life of a Joplin woman. This one happened after 4 on Friday. Authorities responded to the crash on Highway 160 about 6 miles west of Columbus. They say a pickup left the right side of the road and hit a car head-on. The driver of the car, 67-year-old Violet Knowles of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. Driver of the truck suffered minor injuries. A passenger in the truck was seriously injured. We've got a considerably cooler day for us today. We're going to be looking at cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Afternoon highs right around the mid-70s, so not where we should be by any means. Tonight, chilly evening, upper 50s for our overnight lows. We'll see a few scattered showers across the area as well as we head through the evening and early overnight hours. Otherwise, again, mostly cloudy. Warmer tomorrow, partly cloudy, near 80. Low 80s by Wednesday. Temperatures continue to increase heading into Father's Day weekend. Highs in the low 90s. Right now at 5:30, the Festival of Art kicks off at Pitt State University. And we've got ourselves a cool and even for some of us foggy start across the area. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. And Brigman's Blueberry Farm in Webb City celebrates its opening day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:30 and 33 seconds. I'm Chris Warner, and it is Monday across the area. Time to, wake up. Got to get back to work for some of us. But you're not going to need the AC this morning. Well, you shouldn't really need it for most of today. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies and considerably cool temperatures for us as we head through the afternoon. And then as we head a little later into today, take a look out to the west. A few scattered showers starting to build into the area. So here we are at 4 o'clock. We go to 5, 6, 7, 8. As you can see, these are going to be scattered across the region, but they do 2 things. One, they bring some of us some rain. Sorry, they do 3 things. Second, they keep a lot of us with these mostly cloudy skies. So the third thing they do is they keep our temperatures relatively cool as we head through today. Now, these scattered showers will be a little more isolated, but they'll persist to maybe roughly just before sunrise as we head into our Tuesday. However, take a look at Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Yeah, there's clouds on here, but not nearly as many, which means tomorrow we're going to be a bit warmer. So again, as we've mentioned, almost right along the I-44 corridor, we've been dealing with some patchy fog, some of it dense in locations, especially around Grand Lake, Grove. Look at that, about 0.6 of a mile for visibility. So if you are traveling, do be aware of that patchy fog out there. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, was looking a little foggy earlier. It doesn't look as foggy as it did, but you can see some of that fog off in the distance from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just north of Kansas Crossing. Our camera, 7th and Rangeline, yeah, mostly cloudy skies out there, a little bit of daylight trying to get in. Chilly though, look at that, 58 in Joplin, calm breeze. Temperatures around the area, they look about like this, 59 in Nevada, Lamar. We got 57 in Iola, 61 in Pittsburgh, 60 Chautauqua, 59 Miami and Neosho. So we get our morning started, again, cloudy, mostly cloudy. Not the mid-80s by late morning. We're talking upper 60s. Highs today right around the mid-70s under these mostly cloudy skies. We have the showers this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. For those not getting showers, we're looking at temperatures back into the upper 50s across the area for overnight lows. Warming up, though, tomorrow near 80, low 80s, mid-80s Wednesday. Then we start getting into the low 90s as we head toward Father's Day weekend with a few scattered storm chances. Well, as the bear population in Missouri continues to grow, so do the chances of a bear encounter. Missouri Department of Conservation has some information in case of a bear encounter. First, allow the bear an escape route. Second, back away slowly with your arms raised. Third, speak calmly. Don't turn away from the bear. And finally, don't run. You also need to report all bear sightings to the Missouri Department of Conservation. Make sure and check out this full article. It's over on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. The state of Missouri has released data from a survey of substitute teachers. That data shows districts statewide are struggling to fill substitute roles, even though the state lowered educational requirements to become a substitute. The survey doesn't show exactly what the problem is, but provides some clues. Some experts say low pay could be a major factor, as well as not receiving enough support. State officials hope the survey will urge lawmakers to do more to solve the issue. Oklahoma lawmakers are heading back to the Capitol today for a special session to override some of Governor Kevin Stitt's vetoes. Those include extensions to tribal compacts on motor vehicle registration and tobacco tax collections. There appears to be enough votes to override those vetoes. Lawmakers could also discuss other bills that failed this legislative session. Young anglers are in for a day of fish-filled excitement and educational experiences at the 22nd Annual Kids Fishing Day. That took place at Kellogg Lake in Carthage. The event, exclusively designed for children 15 and under, ran from 8 until noon over the weekend. It was sponsored by the Missouri Department of Conservation, the City of Carthage, the Kellogg Lake Group, and various local businesses. And the event promises to provide young participants with the chance to reel in fish while fostering their understanding of the art and science of fishing. Well, the Penn State Festival of the Arts kicked off on Sunday. It's a week-long series of free concerts in nearby venues and at PSU. It was organized by the Pitt State Department of Music, local businesses, and the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts. The festival showcases different genres of music, including jazz, brass, Latin, chamber music, and more. I was wondering if they had any Gregorian chant. There will also be an exhibit at the Bicknell Center featuring portraits of renowned entertainers from the collection of the Jim Halsey Company.
Every major city around the world actually have at least one, if not several festivals going on through their cities for their community. We actually wanted to start this 11 years ago. So this is the 11th season, 11th edition of the festival.
The exhibit will be open through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. every day. The Spiva Arts Center in Joplin set to host Arts on Tap, an event catering exclusively to adults 21 and over. The event aims to celebrate the Spiva members. The evening was filled with live performances, interactive installations, and an array of craft beers on tap. This celebration seeks to foster a sense of community while showcasing the vibrant art scene within the Spiva community.
Showing appreciation to our membership is so important. They are what makes Spiva tick. They're the lifeblood behind what we do. The artists, the members, community can all come out and support Spiva, and they do that throughout the year, and so we love to be able to give back to them every year with this event.
Over 200 members attended the event. Well, Bridgman's Blueberry Farm in Webb City celebrated its highly anticipated opening day in 2023. Families and berry enthusiasts flocked to the picturesque farm to handpick blueberries from the abundant bushes. Bridgman's Blueberry Farm opening day 2023 marked the beginning of a fruitful season, uniting the community in a shared love for berries.
Everything mowed really nice, everything's super clean and easy to do, and it's really important for people to see where their food comes from. And they're used to seeing it in the store, but they don't really understand where it comes from and the work that it takes to get it. And so there's nothing better than being able to provide that for the community.
More than 500 people picked berries over the opening weekend. Well, this morning we've been discussing staging protests or walkouts. Multiplayer online game League of Legends is close to the top of the heap of competitive gaming, but it may have to cancel its Summer League Championship event after players voted to walk out of the competition. This comes as Riot Games, that's an ironic name, and team owners said they were going to stop funding NACL, essentially the game's North American minor league where the teams draw new pros. Players Association is concerned that it would leave not only a deficit of talent, but people would lose their jobs. In response, Riot Games has postponed the competition by 2 weeks while also threatening to cancel the entire thing if no resolution can be made. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Does staging walkouts or protests cause change? So far, 67% of you say that they do. 33% of you say they do not. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Well, that is a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. From guns to gardening tools, how one group aims to transform old guns to something that can be used in the garden. Plus, a French cosmetics company opens its archives door. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, check this out. We got a live look from the Superman Museum in Carterville in honor of Superman Day. Topping World Watch, at least 10 people were killed and more than 11 others were injured in Australia over the weekend when a bus carrying a group of wedding guests crashed. The accident happened during foggy conditions in the heart of the country's wine region. Police are still investigating the cause of the crash and say they responded to initial reports that the bus had rolled in a roundabout. The mayor of a nearby town told local Australian media the crash was, quote, truly horrific. The 58-year-old man driving the bus was taken to the hospital for mandatory testing by police. The 4 indigenous children who went missing in the Colombian Amazon after their plane crashed on May 1st have been found, according to a tweet from Colombian President Gustavo Petro. Quote, a joy for the whole country. The 4 children who were lost 40 days ago in the Colombian jungle were found alive, he tweeted. In his tweet, Petro shared a photo that appears to show search crews with the 4 children. The condition of the children is unknown. In May, Petro had tweeted the children were found, but then retracted his statement, clarifying that the children were still missing. Children's disappearance sparked a massive military-led search operation that saw more than 100 Colombian Special Forces troops and over 70 indigenous scouts combing the deep forest. The 4 were eventually found in an area clear of trees. They told officials that they had found a dog, a Belgian Shepherd search dog named Wilson, that belonged to Special Forces. The dog had gone missing on May 18th, Suarez said. The kids told us that they spent 3 or 4 days with Wilson and that they found him quite skinny, he added. Now, Wilson is 6 years old. Operation Hope has been launched in the areas of Guaviare and Caqueta in order to find him. The intense heat in the UK took a toll during a royal parade practice. At least 3 British Royal Guardsmen collapsed during a military parade rehearsal led by Prince William in London on Saturday. Emergency personnel rushed to their side with stretchers as the rehearsal continued. 1 guard was escorted off the site while 2 others needed to be carried away. The procession at Horse Guards Parade, named Colonel's Review, is the final evaluation before it gets showcased before the King during the trooping of the color on June 17th. Prince William took to Twitter to thank all the soldiers who took part during the difficult conditions. Italians are crying Mamma Mia when they try to get pasta in Italy. Pasta, a symbol of tradition and culture in Italy, is still battling high prices for its treasured food staple. An Italian Pasta Producers Association says the price of a 17-ounce pack of pasta is up 15% compared to April of 2020. That's after seeing a significant drop in inflation prices in Italy. The association says one explanation is that pasta produced today may be made with wheat bought months ago and stocked. The Italian Consumers' Rights Association has requested an official investigation into the pasta price inflation. If you've ever wondered what the world's first lipstick looked like, well, now's a chance to see it firsthand. Guerlain, the iconic French cosmetics company started almost 2 centuries ago, is opening up its archives to provide a behind-the-scenes look at its vast and historic collection. In all, the company that started as a perfumery today has over 18,000 artifacts, including a pivoting toothbrush, the first modern perfume, and the first lipstick dating back to 1870. That's a check of some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:47 on this Monday morning. We've got a chilly start to the day, and we've got a chilly day ahead of us. Take a look. We're looking at cloudy to mostly cloudy skies out there as we head through the afternoon. Then we get in to the later afternoon hours, and we'll start to see a few scattered showers building into the area. These are going to be isolated to widely scattered at best, so unfortunately not a lot of rain out of this, but again, any rain's better than no rain. And they're going to stick with us at least through the early overnight hours, maybe just before sunrise tomorrow, and then they'll clear out, and this cool break that we're having is going to unfortunately come to an end. Well, I've also got some fog to deal with. Now, the densest fog has been really focused along the I-44 corridor, just about or right along and south of it. Just under 2 miles visibility in Mount Vernon, just under 4 in Joplin, just under 3 in Miami. And you go down to Grand Lake, look at Grove, 1/10 of a mile of visibility. So that's some dense fog out there. So if you are traveling this morning, make sure that you are prepared to slow down and watch out for that dense fog out there. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line. You could see some fog earlier. It's cleared a little bit. It's not as thick as it was earlier this morning. But we got some good looking fog though on the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just north of Kansas Crossing. Our camera, 7th and range line. You can see those clouds out there, and before the temperature box appeared, you could see that fog back out in the distance toward Missouri Southern. So again, it's not super dense in Joplin, but it is there. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, chilly, 60 degrees in Joplin right now. Wind is calm, and around the area, it is a cool start for some of us. We're at 56 in Iola, 59 in Yates Center, 61 Independence, Chautauqua, Miami, Pittsburgh, 60 Lamar and Neosho. We're sitting at 55 in Monette. So again, a chilly start out there. We'll have those cloudy to mostly cloudy skies through the majority of our day. And again, it's so crazy because on Friday, we were looking at mid-80s by 11 o'clock. Today, we're talking upper 60s by 11 o'clock. That's how much cooler today is. 76 roughly for our high, so we're looking at mid-70s. Again, mostly cloudy skies out there. Then we'll see the showers increasing a little bit as we head through the evening and into the overnight hours, and another chilly one ahead of us as we're dropping back into the upper 50s. But it's still June. It's still hot, and unfortunately this little cool break does not last. Near 80 tomorrow, partly cloudy Wednesday, mid-80s, and then after that, take a look ahead. We start to really warm up, temperatures into the low 90s heading into Father's Day weekend. Some isolated thunderstorms morning, evening on Thursday, some evening thunderstorms possible Friday, maybe a few morning thunderstorms on Father's Day, and then as we head beyond that, look at this! First day of summer. And we're getting close to triple digits, so enjoy today's cool weather while you can because it will be gone soon. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more, but first, got another live look from the Superman Museum in Carterville in honor of Superman Day. In New Hampshire, people are turning the guns that they own into works of art or tools to make your garden that much better. Troy Lynch tells us about Guns to Gardens.
I've been trying to get rid of this firearm since 2019.
Ken Grillo, an Army marksman veteran, has been trying to get rid of this gun for now 4 years. Now, it's being cut to pieces.
6-7 years ago, I bought this rifle just for target practice. And with everything that's going on, I just decided I wanted to get rid of it.
The first of its kind and a first for this state. Churches from all over New Hampshire hosted the event Guns to Gardens, where unwanted firearms are cut down, melted down, and turned into either art or gardening tools.
It is harder than you would think to get rid of a firearm in New Hampshire.
I'm glad it's going to be used for something useful.
Something useful and to make a safer place for his grandkids.
My main thing, and you can see the sticker on the back of my car, it won't harm any kids.
The process is simple. Have the gun in the trunk of your car, and while you're doing paperwork, 2 trained volunteers take the gun.
Who will check to see, is the gun loaded, can it be safely dismantled, and then hand it off over here to our chop saw team.
Organizers said they hope this becomes an annual event, and this was reminding me of this video clip where Patrick Stewart runs out into a garden and uses some choice words, but explains that these weeds are going to kill all of his lilies, and then he pulls out his gun and opens fire at the weeds. So it just kind of made me chuckle about that. That thankfully is not how they're using these guns as gardening tools. We'll be right back. A survey has revealed the top 10 most bizarre hotel service requests. Hotels.com's first ever room service report looked at over 470 hotels with in-room dining available in 10 countries, including the U.S. And among the quirkiest hotel requests, bison, boiled bottled water, a fish caught by a traveler who wanted it cooked to order, and a rice bowl for a dog. All right, other unusual requests include melted ice cream, cockle popcorn, and a no egg white omelet. All right. Well, Saturday's Google Doodle had Britons divided. The Doodle celebrated scones, the baked treat popular in the UK, but the proper way to top them is an age-old debate. In the picture, you see 2 scones giving each other the side eye in disapproval. One is topped with cream, then jam, which is the way people in Devon enjoy them. The other has jam first, then cream, which is the traditional Cornish way. So which one is better? Well, it all depends on who you ask. But King Charles reportedly enjoys scones with jam first, the Cornish way. And you're going to enjoy today's weather because, by golly, it will not last. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies through the morning into the afternoon. And we're looking at, look at this, upper 60s by late morning instead of the 80s by late morning. Today's highs, not even close, mid-70s across the area, mostly cloudy skies. And then as we head into the later afternoon hours and into the overnight, we're going to see some scattered showers out there. They're going to be scattered, isolated at best. And we're looking at another chilly evening, upper 50s for our overnight low. Warmer tomorrow, though, near 80, low 80s Wednesday. And then take a look ahead. We head into Father's Day weekend. Got a couple of thunderstorm chances here and there, but temperatures continue to rise into the low 90s. And then we get close to the first official day of summer. Let's just let that set in for a minute. We are going to go from 76 to 97. We'll have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Right now at 6, a crash in Cherokee County, Kansas turns fatal for a Fort Worth, Texas man when his dirt bike strikes a dog. And it is chilly across the area. It's going to be cool today, but that cool weather does not last. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. And a new survey shows districts across the state of Missouri are struggling to fill substitute teacher positions even after the Show Me State lowered the educational requirements.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock, almost 6:01 on this Monday morning. And even though we don't really like Mondays all that much, you're going to love today's forecast. And then you're going to hate me and Doug and Sam and Chloe and every other weather person once we show you the 10-day forecast. But for right now, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. We head into the afternoon and evening hours. We'll start to see these scattered to isolated showers across the region. They'll be widely scattered, as I mentioned, at best, but they will be there. And they'll hang on through the overnight hours to say just before sunrise for us on Tuesday before they clear on out, and then it starts to warm up. So let's talk about right now. Right now, look at this. Joplin now reporting 1 mile visibility, 1.5 Carthage, almost right along into just to the north and south of the I-44 corridor. We've got some pretty dense fog building out there, so do be aware of that. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. You can see some distant fog. Doesn't seem to be too thick here. We look at the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue north of the casino, and you can see some fog off in the distance as well. And you can see that fog on our camera at 7th and range line, sitting at 58 in Joplin right now. So pretty darn chilly. North-northeast breeze at 3. We look around the region. region, 59 Nevada, Lamar, 55 Iola, 59 Chatopa, Miami, Neosho, and 61 in Pittsburgh. So a very chilly start. We get our morning started. We've got the mostly cloudy skies, upper 60s by late morning. Highs today, mid 70s. And our lows tonight, upper 50s with those scattered shower chances. And now let's take a quick look at that 7-day. And then we'll look at that 10-day because you got to see this. We're 76 today. We're going to go into the low 90s as we head into the weekend. A couple of thunderstorm chances here and there. So Father's Day, maybe some morning storms. And then we go beyond that. And we close in on the first day of summer. And summer's definitely going to arrive as temperatures start approaching the triple digits by the middle of next week. So definitely enjoy this weather while it lasts because it certainly will not, unfortunately. Well, Sunday afternoon crash in Cherokee County takes the life of a Fort Worth man. Authorities received reports of a motorcycle crash on a rural road near Southwest 20th and Greenlawn Road, just south of Columbus. Preliminary information reveals a dirt bike was traveling eastbound on Southwest Greenlawn Road when the driver struck a dog, causing him to lose control of the motorcycle. Cherokee County Ambulance rushed the driver to Mercy Maud Norton Hospital in Columbus, where he was pronounced deceased. Next of kin have been notified. An Aurora woman dies following a crash near Mount Vernon. This crash took place near Missouri Highway 174, just 4 miles east of Mount Vernon. Authorities say 38-year-old Pamela White was traveling west when she veered off the roadway, hit a tree, and then overturned. White was pronounced dead at the scene. And a head-on crash near Columbus, taking the life of a Joplin woman. Authorities responded to the crash on Highway 160, about 6 miles west of Columbus. They say a pickup left the right side of the road and hit a car head-on. Driver of the car, 67-year-old Violet Knowles of Joplin, was pronounced dead at the scene. Driver of the truck suffered minor injuries. A passenger in the truck was seriously injured. The state of Missouri releases data from a survey of substitute teachers, and the numbers come up short. The data shows districts statewide are struggling to fill substitute roles, even though the state lowered educational requirements to become a substitute. The survey doesn't show exactly what the problem is, but it provides some clues. Some experts say low pay could be a major factor, as well as not receiving enough support. State officials hope the survey will urge lawmakers to do more to solve the issue. Oklahoma lawmakers head back to the Capitol today for a special session to override some of Governor Kevin Stitt's vetoes. Those include extensions to tribal compacts on motor vehicle registration and tobacco tax collections. There appears to be enough votes to override those vetoes. Lawmakers could also discuss other bills that failed in this legislative session. Tomorrow, former President Donald Trump will appear in a South Florida court after he became the first former president to face federal charges. It all stems from the Department of Justice's probe into his handling of sensitive and classified material after leaving office. Trump again denied any wrongdoing while on the campaign trail. Naomi Ruckham has the latest on the reaction to the indictment and what to expect this week.
Today, former President Donald Trump will travel to Florida ahead of his Tuesday arraignment at a Miami federal court.
The documents, whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a disgrace.
Over the weekend, Trump continued to defend himself while campaigning in Georgia and North Carolina after the Department of Justice unsealed the 37-count indictment against him. The charges, which are connected to his keeping of sensitive materials at his Mar-a-Lago home, include willful retention of national defense information and conspiracy to obstruct justice.
We did absolutely nothing wrong.
The indictment has divided prominent Republicans.
This idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous.
Most Republicans believe that the law is used as a weapon against Donald Trump.
In fact, a new CBS News poll shows 76% of likely GOP voters said their biggest concern was that the indictment was politically motivated.
Something is out of whack. He's not the only one president that has documents.
Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says the legal process must go forward without interference.
We encourage Mr. Trump's supporters and his critics to let this case proceed peacefully.
Trump says he plans to speak from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club Tuesday evening after his arraignment. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Protests are expected in Miami around the timing of the former president's arraignment. That new CBS News poll of likely GOP voters also found that 61% of them said they would vote for Trump if the election were held today. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you need to do is search for KOAM News. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we've got just what you need on a Monday morning. It's a visit from baker Lori Horton. She's here to make a sweet day for everyone with a recipe for sugar cookie bars. Plus, a new report shows yoga can help reduce frailty in older adults. We've got the details. And we're going to take another, wow, okay, look at, this is our camera here at KOAM. That fog definitely thickening up in some areas. We'll take a look at that forecast about those shower chances and when it's going to warm up again when we come back. First, we got another live look from the Superman Museum in Carterville in honor of Superman Day. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've got Lori Horton in the studio this morning, here to make our Monday a little bit better. Welcome.
We're going to try. Thank you.
Well, hey, sweet treats always make any day better, but they really help on a Monday.
Especially on a foggy Monday like this.
Yes,
so we'll do the best we can.
Well, what have we got here?
Well, we've got a really great recipe this morning for a sugar cookie bar. So some people are a little intimidated by sugar cookies. They think I've got to, mix it up and refrigerate them and roll it and cut it and decorate and do all these fancy things. Not necessary at all. So we've got a really simple, like sheet pan type sugar cookie recipe today. So it starts with a couple of mixes, so it makes it really, really simple, even on top of simple. So I've got a regular box of cake mix. Normal size, any brand, whatever flavor that you like. So if you want a really traditional, like just plain sugar cookie, obviously like white, French vanilla, something like that. And then a bag of sugar cookie mix. And this is like a 17.5 ounce bag.
Okay.
Pretty standard size it looks like. And again, whatever brand you like, you can kind of mix that up a little bit. And all we're gonna do is just dump both of those into our bowl. You're in charge of that.
All right. I can do this part pretty easy.
Both of those, we are going to add to that a cup of butter. And I want to note our butter is like a little beyond softened. So I kept this out, so it's really, really good. It's not melted, but it's really good and soft. So we're going to just scrape that right off into that bowl with all of that. Super easy. And this is just 2 sticks. Each stick is a half a cup, but unsalted. Always want to make sure we have unsalted.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to add in there is our eggs. And I'm going to do 4. Our recipe calls for 3, but my eggs are not as large as they could be. So we're just going to add that extra one.
See, you've got cracking eggs down to an art here. If I tried that, it'd be all over the
all over the table like that?
I just cursed it. I had to say something, didn't I?
Thanks a lot, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Well, for folks at home, that's about what it looks like when I try and do things like this. We didn't really need that 4th egg anyway,
We didn't.
Right?
It was just for in case. We'll worry about that later.
I had to say something.
You had to say something. And then the last thing we're going to do, and my hands now have a little bit of egg on them, at least not on my face. So I'll let you open that bottle.
Let's see if, okay.
All right, and we're going to add just a little splash, about a teaspoon of vanilla to that. So easy peasy. Let's put the lid back on that.
See, here's the thing. This is what happens to me if I try and cook. So I don't think it's you, it's me.
We'll go with that.
It's definitely me.
And all I'm going to do is we're going to mix that together really thoroughly. And this is going to be a job for your stand mixer, your little bit heavier duty mixer, as opposed to our little hand guy. Or you can just mix it by hand.
Okay.
And be really thorough. It's going to make a nice, even dough, nothing too crazy. And we're going to spray our pans, put that dough in our pans, get that all baked up. And then when we come back, we're going to make frosting. to top these. That's going to be really, really simple and kind of show you how all of that comes out. So,
sounds good.
absolutely.
Lori, thanks so much. Well, we'll catch up with you again on the 7 o'clock hour of the KOAM Morning News over on Fox 14. We'll be back with another check of your forecast right after this.
As soon as we clean up.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News here. We are at 6:16, almost 6:17 on this Monday morning. We're going to talk first about what we're expecting in terms of showers and stuff today. Then we're going to take a look at the fog around the area as well, because we're starting to see some dense fog out there. All right, by noon, we're looking at cloudy to mostly cloudy skies across the region. And then as we head about 4 or 5 o'clock this evening, or this afternoon, however you want to break it up, we're going to start to see a few scattered showers across the area. Now, these showers are going to be isolated to widely scattered at best, so we're not talking a ton of rain, unfortunately, but we will at least see some additional rain. We go 8, 10 o'clock, still a few scattered showers. They become a little more isolated as we head into the overnight, and they should clear out just before sunrise tomorrow. But between the showers, the cloud cover, all of that, that's going to keep us a little cooler. Now, let's talk about this dense fog. It's really racking up. It was initially right along the I-44 corridor, but now starting to build up just a little to the north and to the south of that. 0.3 of a mile visibility in Grove, just over a mile in Joplin, and a mile and a half in Carthage. So if you're traveling this morning on 44, 60, 59, 49, you need to just be careful in Jasper, Newton, Ottawa, Delaware, and even parts of McDonald counties this morning as we've got some dense fog. Let's take a look at it. These are a series of MoDOT cameras around the Joplin metro area. So from 7th and Garden Grove, you can see that fog's a little thicker there than it is in some locations. 32nd and Rangeline, you can kind of see it off in the distance. Just behind this banner, this is at 7th and Rangeline, you can see some of that fog. 20th and Rangeline looking good. So again, it's patchy out there, but where it is somewhat dense. KDOT camera now, 69 and East 520th Avenue, just to the north of Kansas Crossing Casino. You can see that fog out there as well, and you can see it off in the distance on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Sun starting to come up this morning. We are chilly out there, though. 59 degrees to start our day in Joplin, and it's chilly around the region. We got 55 in Iola, 61 Pittsburgh, 62 Parsons, 59s in Chautauqua, Miami, Neosho, and sitting at 57 in Monette. So again, we're going to have those cloudy skies through the morning, upper 60s by late morning, so nowhere near where we usually are. And we're looking at mid 70s for highs today, so pretty nice temperatures. You know, it's going to be a bit cloudy out there, maybe a few showers. It's going to be cool. It's going to be comfy. And we go down into the upper 50s for our overnight lows tonight, so again, still pretty darn chilly across the area. Near 80 tomorrow, low 80s by Wednesday under partly cloudy skies both days. Maybe some isolated thunderstorms Thursday, Friday, and into Sunday for Father's Day. But look at these temperatures rising. Low 90s, we get closer to the first day of summer. We go partly cloudy skies, and look at this. Temperatures continue to climb into the upper 90s, near triple digits out there. That's a check of your forecast and some unfortunate numbers for next week. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Topping Health Watch this morning, if you're trying to lose weight, be careful around family and loved ones. They could be sabotaging you. A new study out of the University of Surrey found those closest to you may be inadvertently derailing your weight loss journey by doing things like offering you food when you're not hungry, or not calling you out when you're breaking your weight loss rules. Now, researchers do point out, though, that proper support from friends and family can be an invaluable tool in helping you achieve your goals. Men take more risks than women, and it's because men are more optimistic than women. That's according to new research published in the British Journal of Psychology. The study found women weigh the negative outcomes of taking risks greater than any gains they might make. And some news from a study aimed at athletes that could benefit us all. Researchers out of the University of Georgia say eating colorful fruits and vegetables can help your visual range. Compounds in foods like leafy greens and yellow and orange produce have been shown to improve how well a person can see a target clearly over distance, which is, of course, crucial in most sports. That downward dog may help prevent frailty in older adults. Dr. Malika Marshall has the details of a new study and introduces us to a golden yogi.
For 76-year-old Patricia Walden, yoga is a way of life. My life is organized around my practice. I don't schedule anything for the morning unless I'm teaching a workshop.
Walden has been practicing yoga for more than 50 years and says it's given her a leg up.
When you're doing something that's embodied and you're lifting your chest and focusing on your breath, you don't feel your age.
Researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School have found regular yoga practice reduces frailty in older people. Frailty is a geriatric syndrome affecting as many as half of adults 80 and older.
Frailty is a condition where we might decline more abruptly with something like an infection.
Geriatrician Dr. Julia Lowenthal is the lead study author. She looked at the effects of yoga on frailty markers like walking ability, hand grip, balance, and lower extremity strength.
Yoga seemed to positively impact gait or walking speed and also lower extremity strength most strongly. When people practice about 2 to 3 times a week, that seems to be an effective, what we would call a dose of yoga.
Walden says you're never too old to try something new.
Just give it a try. Give it 2 tries and you'll get hooked.
This golden warrior says she plans to practice for the rest of her life. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Cambridge.
Well, doctors recommend looking for a trained, certified yoga instructor and ideally someone with experience working with older people. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We're watching some dense fog across the area. As I mentioned, this updates roughly every half hour, and you can see we're down just under a mile visibility in Joplin, Carthage, up to a mile in Grove, and just over a mile in Miami, so some pretty dense fog out there. Here's a look at a number of metro cams from MoDOT in the city of Joplin, and you can see some of them showing some of that dense fog, others not so much. So we're dealing with patchy fog with this. So some of you will encounter dense fog and then it might clear up for a moment before you see more patches of dense fog. And you can see some of that on the KDOT camera at 69 and 520th Avenue. This is just north of Kansas Crossing, just south of Pittsburgh itself. So some fog out there as well. We're going to have a pretty chilly, well, at least cool day compared to what we're used to at this time of year. And we've even got some shower chances out there as well. We'll take another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Right now it's 6:30. Some little fishermen and fisherwomen cast their lines and catch some fish at the 22nd Annual Kids Fishing Day in Carthage. We got some patchy fog out there. Some of it's relatively dense in areas, and we're going to be pretty cool today with some shower chances. We'll talk about that forecast coming up. And it's blueberry season. Bridgman's Blueberry Farm in Webb City opened the doors on its opening day to over 500 people.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now coming up on 6:29 on this Monday morning here in the 4 states. I'm Chris Warner. Thanks for sticking with us through this morning. We've got ourselves some foggy conditions across the area, so we're going to talk about the fog, but I also want to touch on what's going to happen as we go into this afternoon. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, and that's going to keep our temperatures down well below where they should be for this time of year. And then as we head into the later afternoon hours, early evening, we're going to start to see some scattered showers across the area. And as you can see, there's going to be isolated to widely scattered at best. Not a ton of rain, but some rain's better than none. And these will actually stick with us. Here we are at 10 o'clock. Even though they become a bit more isolated overnight, we'll still see them to right just before sunrise for us on our Tuesday. And then they're going to give way to a major warm-up that's going to take place over the next several days. All right. Fog right along the I-44 corridor, parts of 49, Highway 60, Highway 69 into Ottawa County, parts of Cherokee County. And it's pretty dense in locations. Under a mile visibility in both Carthage and Joplin, about 1.5 miles in Miami, 1 mile in Grove, and just under 2 in Mount Vernon. So if you're traveling, do be aware of that. We're going to take a look at a few different cameras to give you a perspective on this fog. These are some metro cams from MoDOT in the city of Joplin. And you can see in some locations, the fog is a bit denser, and in others, it's not as dense. So that's going to be the other issues. You may run into an area of dense fog, and then it clears, but don't let your guard down because you may hit some dense fog again. You can see some fog in the distance on the KDOT camera at 69 and 520th Avenue just south of Pittsburgh, and from our camera here at the KOAM studios looking back toward Joplin, back to the southeast, you can see some dense fog out there as well, and same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, some of that patchy fog out there. Chilly this morning, 59 in Joplin, same for everyone across the region as we go 59 Nevada, 61 Pittsburgh, Chetopa, 59 Miami, and 58 in Neosho. Want to go ahead and show you that 7-day. We are looking at temperatures today, mid-70s, then we're going to go near 80 tomorrow, and then our temperatures continue to climb through the upper 80s, lower 90s as we head into this weekend. Could see a couple of isolated storms Thursday, Friday, and on Father's Day, but outside of that, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and pretty darn toasty as well. Well, as the bear population in Missouri continues to grow, so do the chances of a bear encounter. Missouri Department of Conservation has some information in case you happen to run into a bear. The first, you need to allow the bear an escape route. Second, back away slowly with your arms raised. Third, speak calmly and don't turn away from the bear. And lastly, don't run. You need to report all bear sightings to the Missouri Department of Conservation. Make sure and check out this full article. That's over on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Young anglers took in a day of fish-filled excitement and educational experiences at the 22nd Annual Kids Fishing Day. The event, exclusively designed for children 15 and under, took place at Kellogg Lake in Carthage. And it was sponsored by the Missouri Department of Conservation, the City of Carthage, the Kellogg Lake Group, and various local businesses. The event provided young participants with a chance to reel in fish while fostering their understanding of the art and science of fishing. Bridgman's Blueberry Farm in Webb City celebrated its highly anticipated opening day for this year. Families and berry enthusiasts flocked to the picturesque farm to hand-pick blueberries from the abundant bushes this weekend. Bridgman's Blueberry Farm opening day for this year marked the beginning of a fruitful season, uniting the community in a shared love for berries.
Everything mowed really nice, everything's super clean and easy to do, and it's really important for people to see where their food comes from. They're used to seeing it in the store, but they don't really understand where it comes from and the work that it takes to get it. And so there's nothing better than being able to provide that for the community.
More than 500 people picked berries over the opening weekend. The Pitt State Festival of the Arts kicked off over the weekend as well. It's a week-long series of free concerts in nearby venues and at PSU. It was organized by the Pitt State Department of Music, local businesses, and the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts. The festival will showcase different genres of music, including jazz, brass, Latin, chamber music, and a lot more. There will also be an exhibit at the Bicknell Center featuring portraits of renowned entertainers from the collection of the Jim Halsey Company.
Every major city around the world actually have at least one, if not several festivals going on through their cities for their community. We actually wanted to start this 11 years ago. So this is the 11th season, 11th edition of the festival.
The exhibit will be open through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. every day. And the Spiva Center for the Arts in Joplin hosting Arts on Tap, an event catering, you might have guessed, exclusively to adults 21 and over. The event aims to celebrate the Spiva members, though. The evening over the weekend was filled with live performances, interactive installations, and an array of craft beers on tap. This celebration seeks to foster a sense of community while showcasing the vibrant art scene within Spiva.
Showing appreciation to our membership is so important. They are what makes Spiva Tech. They're the lifeblood behind what we do. The artists, the members, community can all come out and support Spiva, and they do that throughout the year, and so we love to be able to give back to them every year with this event.
Over 200 members attended the event. Well, this morning we've been discussing staging protests and walkouts, and specifically esports has to deal with its first major labor dispute as multiplayer online game League of Legends may have to cancel its Summer League Championship event after players voted to walk out of the competition. This comes as Riot Games and team owners said they were going to stop the game's North American minor league. The move concerns the Players Association not only because, as they claim, it would leave a deficit of talent, but people could potentially lose their jobs. Riot Games has since postponed the competition by 2 weeks. They've also threatened to cancel the entire event if no resolution can be made. That brings us to our question for you this morning. Does staging walkouts or protests actually cause change? So far, it's shifted big from earlier this morning. 38% of you say that they do. 62% of you say that they don't. And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with the place, the timing, and what it's about exactly in order for it to cause change of any kind. Make sure you take time to vote, though, through our website, through our app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. And that is a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. As summer starts to heat up, many Americans start to crank up the AC. I know I have. But at what financial cost? Well, we've got some expert advice for how to stay cool this summer without overheating your bank account. Plus, we got that fog out there across the area, and we've got cloudy skies, cool conditions, and maybe even some showers. We'll take a look at that forecast. But first, got another live look from the Superman Museum in Carterville in honor of Superman Day. In Consumer Watch this morning, the Federal Railroad Administration is expected to release a report on its investigation into the February derailment of a Norfolk Southern freight train in Ohio. Now, the agency also says it will probe all the major freight railroads over the next year. According to the Federal Railroad Administration, in 2022 alone, there were 518 derailments nationwide, causing 5 injuries, no deaths though, and more than $100 million in reported damage. Twitter has reportedly refused to pay its Google Cloud bills, according to a report by Platformer. Twitter had signed a multi-year contract with Google aimed at securing accounts, and the contract comes up for renewal this month. Platformer says the rift could result in Twitter's safety teams being hampered. And an analysis of U.S. Census data shows that American seniors continue to feel the pinch of inflation. While most 65 and older are covered by insurance through programs like Medicare, many are still swamped with debt. It says nearly 4 million older adults could not pay their medical bills in full. In fact, unpaid bills among older adults top $54 billion. Well, the mercury is starting to rise, but for people struggling to keep up with high energy prices, health officials worry those who can't pay are going to lose their electricity in the midst of the escalating summer heat, robbing them of air conditioning or even fans. Ted Lindner takes a closer look at the ongoing energy insecurity crisis and what you can do to help lower your bills.
With temperatures rising ahead of the dog days of summer, public health experts worry higher energy prices could pose health risks for people struggling to pay their electric bills.
Energy insecurity is a pervasive problem.
1 in 4 households experience energy insecurity every year. This according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Roughly 3 million people had their electricity or natural gas shut off after missing a bill last year alone.
I think we will see this problem continue to grow. And in fact, it's going to be households that are on the margin that haven't experienced energy insecurity before that are pushed into it as their bills might rise just a little bit.
Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics reveals electricity prices rose a little more than 14% between 2021 and 2022. And while prices are starting to come down, they're still higher than before the COVID-19 pandemic. Sanya Carley of Indiana University has been studying energy insecurity for years. Her team is revealing a new site which tracks utility disconnections, energy company and state financial assistance programs, and more, so that most at risk can understand their options.
Households that have members that have electronic medical devices, households of color, are far more likely to be energy insecure.
When people can't pay, Carley says many resort to dangerous ways to come up with money, like skipping meals. Instead, she recommends contacting your utility provider and asking for help, as well as suggesting ways to enhance your home's energy efficiency to lower your bills.
Sealing your doors, sealing those gaps in the wall, making sure that your HVAC system's working.
That'll show it. Well, that's it for Consumer Watch. We've also got some pretty foggy conditions out there. Taking a look at some of the metro cams from MoDOT in Joplin, you can see some show some denser fog, some don't. We'll take another full look at your forecast right after this. We've also got the perfect cure for that case of the Mondays. Well, Lori Horton's here, and she's making some really delicious treats. But if that's not enough for you, we're going to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries coming up right after the break. But first, you know what we like to do at this time of the morning. We're going to go see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Oscar nominee Scarlett Johansson will be with us in studio today to talk about her latest movie. It's Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays across the area, and we are going to begin in Girard with Ryan Franklin celebrating birthday number 8. It says, we all love you from your mom, dad, and sisters. Happy birthday. We've also got Case Keller in McCune celebrating number 10. Very happy birthday to you, Case. We've also got Rayleigh Blue Fincher also celebrating birthday number 10. It says, happy birthday from Grandma and Grandpa in Pittsburgh. Dixie Layson celebrating a birthday over in Columbus. Happy birthday, Dixie. We've also got Don Watson celebrating number 78 over in Weir. And Dustin and Trina Ashmore celebrating their second wedding anniversary in Frontenac. And we've got Brenda and William Reed celebrating their 46th wedding anniversary out in Chetopa. And our list continues. We've got Aubrey Scott celebrating birthday number 21 in Girard. Clint Phillips celebrating the big 6-0 over in Liberal. Tom and Pat Christie celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary. And then our good friend, Chef Anthony Fisher. Now, I'm surprised that he shared this, or whoever shared this shared his age. He is 42. Says happy birthday from your favorite students. He's also up for an award that could not only see him featured in Taste of Home magazine, but could be worth $25,000. Voting starts today at 10 a.m. If you want to vote, you can go to favechef.com and you can look up Chef Anthony Fisher. Hey, happy birthday and anniversary to all of you. And of course, if you'd like to celebrate with us, there's an easy way to do that. You just have to submit your birthdays and anniversaries to that email address on your screen. That's birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com. You can also submit them through our website. And through our website, you know what else you can do? Sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some special deals from local businesses. You also, most importantly, I think, get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. All you need to do, head over to KOAMnewsnow.com, sign up for that birthday club today. All right. It's foggy. It's chilly. And it's not going to last, unfortunately. So let's take a look at that forecast. Taking a look at the MoDOT Metro cams around the city of Joplin. You can see this one, 7th and Garden Grove, been showing a little bit more fog. Back behind this banner, this one at 7th and Rangeline, you can see fog. We'll show you our camera at 7th and Rangeline as well. And you can see some off in the distance from 20th and Rangeline, and you barely see any from 32nd and Rangeline. We go to the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just north of Kansas Crossing, just south of Pittsburgh. You can see some fog off in the distance there. And our camera right here at KOAM, which is just to the north of Crestline, you can see some denser fog off in the distance. This now looking off to about the northeast. So we got plenty of fog out there. But as you've noted on these cameras, it's patchy. You're running into spots where you're not running into fog. And then all of a sudden you run into a dense wall of fog. So if you're traveling this morning, be prepared for that. Our camera, 7th and Rangeline. You can see that fog off in the distance there. We're otherwise partly cloudy, not too bad. 60 in Joplin, so chilly, but the calm breeze as well. So it's going to take a minute for this fog to burn off, but it will eventually do so. We got 60 Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 57 in Iola, 63 Chetopa, 60 Miami, and 58 in Neosho, 55 Monette and Cassville. So still some pretty chilly spots out there, especially considering that this is June the 12th. That's pretty darn cool for this time of year. But if you like the summertime, I have fantastic news. If you don't like the summertime, I have terrible news. We're going to get to that news here in just a moment. All right, Let's get our morning started. We're looking at cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, maybe even a few partly cloudy skies out there. And we're going to go into the upper 60s by 11. Now remember, last Friday, we were looking at the mid 80s by 11 a.m. So much better. Nicer temperatures. I like these temperatures. I like it to be warm, but not too warm. And this is perfect. Mid 70s today for our highs. Cloudy as we head into the afternoon. And then as we go into the later evening hours, we're going to see a few more of those scattered showers across the region. They're going to be scattered. Not everybody's going to get rain. And even those who do, this isn't a ton of rain. But nonetheless, at least some rain chances out there. Another chilly evening as well. Look at that. We go back into the upper 50s for our overnight lows. Now, let's take a look down the road. Okay, we know we're coming up on the first day of summer, right? Next week, officially. So, I mean, summertime has to eventually arrive, officially, right? It's going to. We start to warm up. We go into tomorrow, partly cloudy, near 80, mid 80s by Wednesday. We start to head toward the weekend. We get a couple of stray storm chances Thursday, Friday, and on Father's Day. And look at these temperatures. They're starting to climb, aren't they? We can start going into the low 90s. And it doesn't stop, unfortunately. So this is what I'm talking about. If you love the summer temperatures, you want to get out to the creek, the pool, whatever, you're going to love what's coming up as we head into next week. If you don't like the summer temperatures, it might be time just to crawl back into bed, turn the fan on, and stay there. Here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, first day of summer next Wednesday. Temperatures, 95. 96, 97 by next Wednesday. We're getting that close to triple digits. And we do so quickly. Remember, this is 10 days. From today, 9 more days after that. We're going to go from 76 and just a few days later, upper 90s near 100. So do be prepared for that, though. In all seriousness, though, with this heat, if you're working outside, you got anything you got to do outdoors, do make sure that you stay hydrated, keep water with you, take frequent breaks, stay in the shade as you can, and find places you can cool off because it's going to get pretty darn toasty. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're going to take a look back on the last 7 years since a gunman killed 49 people in a Florida nightclub and just how much has changed for the LGBTQ plus community since then. Since the shooting at the Pulse nightclub, many in the LGBTQ plus community say they now face a worse threat from legislatures. We're going to take a look at the legal culture clash and pride pushback when the KOAM Morning News makes the move over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pitt State Festival of Arts kicked off over the weekend, some week-long series of free concerts in nearby venues and at PSU. Festival will showcase different genres of music, including jazz, brass, Latin, chamber music, and much more. There will also be an exhibit at the Bicknell Center featuring portraits of renowned entertainers from the collection of the Jim Halsey Company. Young anglers took in a day of fish-filled excitement and educational experiences at the 22nd Annual Kids Fishing Day, which took place at Kellogg Lake in Carthage. The event was exclusively designed for children 15 and under. It also provided young participants with a chance to reel in fish while fostering their understanding of the art and science of fishing. Spiva Center for the Arts in Joplin hosted Arts on Tap, an event catering exclusively, as you may have guessed, to adults 21 and over. The event aims to celebrate the Spiva members. The evening was filled with live performances, interactive installations, and an array of craft beers on tap. Celebration seeks to foster a sense of community while showcasing the vibrant art scene within Spiva. And Richmond's Blueberry Farm in Webb City celebrated its highly anticipated opening day. Families and berry enthusiasts flocked to the picturesque farm to hand-pick blueberries from the abundant bushes. Richmond's opening day marked the beginning of a fruitful season, uniting the community in a shared love for berries. And that is a check of the news you need to know before you head out the door. And today, cool, not bad. Mid-70s, cloudy skies. As we head into this afternoon and this evening, we'll see increasing scattered shower chances. Not a ton of rain, but at least some rain. Will otherwise be mostly cloudy, a chilly night tonight, back into the upper 50s. This is it. Doesn't last long. We start warming up near 80 tomorrow, mid-80s by Wednesday. Some storm chances Thursday, Friday, and then we'll see maybe some storm chances on Father's Day in the morning. Temperatures continue to climb as we head into the lower 90s. Well, coming up today at noon, we're going to make Mediterranean ravioli with feta in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Today marks 60 years since civil rights leaders Medgar Evers was gunned down in front of his home in Mississippi. Only on CBS Mornings, co-host Gail King sits with his widow, Merle Evers, to see how she is honoring his legacy and her fight for racial equality. You can also switch over with us, though, on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, our good friend Lori Horton heading back into the studio. Technically, actually, she's never left. And she's making these things. And you're going to want to take a look at this recipe. It looks delicious. And we'll have the finishing touches on these sugar cookie bars. Plus, a cancer survivor finds her way into the Guinness Book of World Records. That's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We will see you back here tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5 a.m. And, of course, we'll do it all again today at noon.